We found bones last year of a murdered victim.
Wow.
I've had a few buddies get bit in front of me, and it's always like your heart stops.
Do you ever get contacted by cities or municipalities or any places like that that says, hey, we've got this thing going on in the river, can you come?
I have thousands of people that reach out saying they lost their wedding ring or whatever it may be. My subscribers ticked over to 1 million views, and my shoulders felt so heavy. I was like, holy crap, that's a lot of people, you know?
So what would you say has been like your most exciting kind of notch in your belt from your experience so far, the most exciting thing you've gotten to do?
I know I wasn't going to talk about this, but
Jake Koehler always knew he wanted to be a YouTuber. He started out like a lot of creators, just a kid with a gamer tag and a camera, posting videos from his bedroom under the name D Almighty. For a while, it was just about having fun, but then one video of him diving in a local river completely exploded. Millions of views, national media attention, and overnight momentum. That moment changed everything. Jake leaned into what made his channel different. Real treasure hunts, underwater recoveries, and the joy of returning lost items to their owners. Over the years, he turned D Almighty into a full-time business with a global audience, major brand partnerships, and a tight-knit team, all based in Columbus, Georgia. In this episode, we'll talk about the early days of content creation, what it takes to build a business around YouTube, how he stays grounded while the numbers keep growing, and what he's learned about turning passion into purpose. Let's jump into our conversation with Jake Koehler, also known as Scuba Jake.
there's really good stuff and there's really bad stuff that I find over the years. Bad stuff, I mean, you know, it's just to be expected, you know, people and things like that. Like we found bones last year of a murdered victim, specifically, possibly, I guess, like maybe a woman, like a small woman.
Wow.
I didn't get any other updates. So that's like some gnarly stuff.
Yeah.
But for good stuff, you know, in the river, I really just love chasing those stories where you're helping people, you know, like when you find a big diamond ring and maybe you can give it back to someone, you know, that's
cool. Yeah.
It's kind of fun, or like phones or wallets and things like that. But there's really all types of stuff to find. But usually when I'm diving in a Chattahoochee River, it's really for bad stuff and for maybe technology that people lose to give back to them, you know? So yeah, that's you really never know though.
So like with the bad stuff, because I think I've seen in the past, this was probably years ago, one of your videos about pulling out explosives or...
Yeah. It's funny because I've got 9 more right now all piled up somewhere I got to go get.
Man.
Yeah, so I think we found 11 mortars last year underneath the Dillingham Street Bridge. They're just old ones. Some of them look sealed, but some of them were open. To be honest with you, I'm not an expert. I treated everyone like it was an actual, you know, unexploded ordinance. So I just pulled them aside and called the police, and then, you know, they came and collected them.
Do they ever tell you like how that stuff gets there?
They never gave me an update. I think maybe someone back in the day tossed it off the bridge because it was all in kind of one spot, and that's what people do on these bridges. They usually just throw their weapons or, you know, some bad stuff. Like I found claymores one time, like, but they're dummy claymores, and I guess they're just tossed it off the bridge. I don't know why, but
it's a human thing to do. Just
stuff to find,
throw something in the water.
Yeah.
So when you find valuables, it's pretty cool. Like you're talking about diamond rings and things, being able to connect them to their owners. I'm sure some people that watch some of the videos and things think if you find something like really valuable, do you get to keep it if you can't connect it with an owner?
You know, we find all types of stuff. And to be honest with you, if I can't find any owners, I just hold on to everything just in case maybe those people reach out. But I do have a tub of iPhones. I have a bunch of wedding rings. And, you know, I think one day there's going to be a time limit, and I do want to melt all the gold wedding rings down and do something special with them. But as for now, all the rings I can't find the owners to, I have like a big display case, and they're just sitting in my house until, you know, if I can find the owners or
phones ever randomly start ringing. And
dude, I found a phone the other day. Someone said they lost it in the lazy river. So I went out there and I found the phones, and I was like, oh, wow, cool. And I pulled it out of the water, and I guess the moment you pull it out of the water, it sends a signal or something, and I'm getting phone calls like crazy. And then so yeah, I almost had the police called on me one time because this lady thought I stole her Apple Watch, and I was like, I found your Apple Watch. You ain't giving me no time to contact you, and you got the police out my door like that night.
Oh, because they can track it now. So they can
and they're like, I know where you live, and I was like, good. I'm like, I'm gonna throw your watch back in the river. Like, no, but most of the time, everyone's pretty chill and happy, you know.
Well, obviously, people know you from YouTube, Scuba Jake. Yeah. So tell us the backstory of that. How did that start? Did you always know that you wanted to be a YouTuber? Is that something that, you know, give us the background on that?
2011, I was in high school. I was graduating, and I started my YouTube channel. And the name I chose was D Almighty. It's spelled DALLMYD, otherwise known as Scuba Jake now too. But D Almighty means like the Almighty. I got it off of the movie Bruce Almighty. I saw the word Almighty, and I was like, Almighty. I'm like, that's cool, you know. And then I just made my own hidden word up. I don't know why. I just always did that in the video game world. My gamer tags were always something kind of weird, and D Almighty to me at the time stuck. And a lot of like, if you were a true fan of the channel, I think you knew the name, but it was hard for people maybe to identify and say that name over and over. So that's why we kind of rebranded with Scuba Jake. But if you know me as D Almighty, that's totally fine. We choose both. So.
What type of video games?
Video games, I love Call of Duty. I mean, ever since I got my hands on any games, back in the day, like I remember my first hunting game, I was like, wow, this is so cool. Like I can actually go kill something without killing someone. I'm like, wow, this is wild, going on a hunt, and then I played like Halo, and I was like, that's pretty cool. And then I got my hands on Call of Duty 4, and I was like, oh, this is cool. You're playing against real people in the world, and I got obsessed with it. I mean, I'm talking every day I was on the game, and then it really wasn't until high school until I realized like, oh wow, I really want to, make YouTube as my career. And at that time, there wasn't really many. There was just a handful of people able to make that as their career. But Call of Duty was such a cool game. I met a lot of amazing people. I made some of my best friends on the game. It just wasn't clicking. I really wanted to be a part of something big. I chased after teams like FaZe Clan, and it seemed like we were kind of making headway. And then there was this competition, and I didn't win it. And it was amongst like thousands. And then that point on, I just found myself at the river, and that niche of treasure hunting kind of found me. I really didn't have a lot of money growing up, and then I just kept borrowing change from my little sister to go get like fishing lures or whatever it would be. And I put little IOUs in their jar. And then I would go out in the river, and then, once I lose my lures, I'm like, those are expensive, especially as someone who's not making any money. So one day I just put my goggles on, I dove under the water, and then I just found a world that I never knew existed. And, the size of this table right here, there's probably 20 fishing lures, and most of them are all rusty. No one's probably been down to the Chattahoochee other than me.
Yeah.
And maybe some rescue divers, but it was so cool. I got the lure that I lost, it was probably nothing more than like $10, but then I got, 50 other ones. I was like, wow, I should make a video about all these lures. And then I remember I found my first phone, and then that blew up on the internet, and I was like, wow, I should give that back to someone. Gave it back to the person, and then the next day I went back out because I was just having so much fun. And then I found my first pistol. I called the police, and then that video went really viral. It got 1 billion views in less than a week on Facebook. Not on my channel, but 1 billion views for someone who, who's never even seen 1 million views on the channel.
That's a billion with a B.
1 billion. And I was like, holy crap, this is amazing. I was like, I'm telling you guys, I dreamt of this. I wrote down every video idea growing up, in the gaming world. It was kind of harder to make content. You really had to be kind of thoughtful about it.
Yeah.
Treasure hunting, everything was organic, everything's real.
Natural.
I just go out, I document what I find, I document the experience, and then I come back and I got the video. So I never really know what I'm going to find or how the video is going to pan out, but obviously you can kind of hone in, and if you want to look for rings, you look around and you can probably find a spot where you're going to find some rings or some bad stuff or iPhones, whatever you want. You just people read. So it all started with Call of Duty, and I didn't make $100 until I started making treasure hunting videos, and I uploaded every single day for like 4 or 5 years, and just really consistent with it. And yeah, that day I put my goggles on to get my lure. It just changed my life.
It's so incredible hearing you say that about just, I'm imagining you putting the goggles on and going, because for those that may be listening that the only information about the Chattahoochee is Alan Jackson, right? About the muddy waters and what it meant to him. But for us growing up here, it was always, especially before the whitewater rafting, it was, kind of dangerous waters, lots of currents. No, really, you hear horror stories and things. And so when I years and years ago heard about you doing this, I was like, oh man, I just had this like pit in my stomach. I don't know if I could get down in those waters with you mentioned alligators and things, but it's incredible because now it's pure recreation down here, and everybody's always in it. And,
there's always danger. I mean, you hear every year people passing away, but I think a lot of the people that drown maybe aren't familiar with how that river works. I mean, it's literally like you're at Niagara Falls, like that dam, when it opens up, that whole river floods. And I tell everyone on the internet, like, this is truly the world's most dangerous spot to dive. It's a great spot to have fun if you're doing everything correctly, but to dive, it's literally the world's most dangerous. You got this braided fishing line. I've gotten so many hooks in my body. If I didn't have any like knives or scissors. Some of those barbs went past me. It's like it's hard to fool around with braided fish line, especially if you don't have a pair of goggles and an air source. So if you're just, it's just rough. And the alligator situation is very rare. We have seen a few a little bit more south, but they don't like that current.
Yeah.
But it's wild. So it's always on the back of your mind. And I've had a few buddies get bit in front of me, and it's always like your heart stops. It's like, oh, goodness.
Bit by a
bit. Yeah, I had my buddy Henry get bit right in front of me. And he's okay. It was just, it was gnarly though. I was like, get me out of this water.
Did you get it on film?
Yeah, I got it on film. What's crazy, because we were looking for shark teeth in the Peace River, and the Peace River's, there's alligators for sure. Like I typed in Peace River alligators before I went there, and I was like, oh gosh, like the news, like everything was bad about it. I was like, okay, well, these guys have been doing it for 20 years. I was like, they've lived, this long, let's go. And then the day we went, he got bit in front of me. But it's just, you're in their world. Anything can happen. And to be honest with you, I kind of get more nervous about big turtles.
Really?
I've heard stories.
Snapping turtles?
Yeah, they're big. Like the heads on those things, like they could take a leg off for sure. Like some of those big alligator snapping turtles. And I've met a guy that I was diving at a spot, and I guess this big turtle came out and took his calf at the same spot I dove at. I was like, oh gosh, I love my calf. I can't
That's incredible. But at the same time, you have to be safe and be aware of your surroundings, be knowledgeable about the water you're getting into. But it's got to be like when you go down in there, it's like your own little universe.
It is fun. The moment you put your head down and you're on the ground and you're looking around at the stuff, it's like you lose all your worries, and then you do have that danger in the back of your mind, like something could come and get you. But for the most part, you're just in the craft. You're having a good time, and you're finding some good stuff, and you forget about all those bad stuff, or forget about maybe your daily worries in the day. And it's really fun, just to go in the water and lose yourself and see what you can find. So,
yeah, that's
incredible. Yeah.
So with the video that went viral for you was the diving video. Did that immediately change your view of content, or was there a moment where you're still doing the gaming stuff?
So I was doing gaming stuff still, and mixing river videos at the same time. I was doing the fishing videos, and then at that time I just found the snorkeling around looking for stuff kind of vibe. And that video got 1 billion views, but it wasn't on my Facebook. It was on someone else's Facebook account.
So what does that mean for revenue?
I didn't earn any money on it.
Okay.
But I got a lot of they earned a lot of money on that. I'm sure they did,
Whoever had shared that original
yeah, I don't know.
Video,
but, to me, though, the reach it gave, and then it wasn't specifically that one video that just changed everything. I mean, it was the first phone I found, and then that first gun I found. I believe those videos both hit 1 million views before 24 hours. And, now it's like, at the time, that's viral for me. 1 million views in 24 hours is insane. I've never seen anything like those numbers. And then it got to a point where I wanted to hit 1 million views on every video before 3 hours or something. Like it was just, it was so much fun, so fast paced, and we were just kind of reinventing the sport of treasure hunting as often as we could. So, it's a little different now, but that's kind of I guess, everything, how it went down.
Yeah.
But yeah, the billion views, it definitely helped push new people to the channel. But then I started just doing interviews with people, and it just seemed like everyone wanted to figure out what I was up to and maybe share that story. Because at the end of the day, it was just organically, a younger guy going out, picking up trash, finding stuff, and giving it back to people for free. And it was that, and it is still that. And I think everyone really hopped on that story. And I think we just had hundreds of people just want to share the story, which was amazing, something I've never seen before. And we just kept it going.
Did you already have the equipment to do that with when you were doing that first video? Or how did you go about that?
So you remember I was making gaming content, and in the gaming world, there's just, I don't know, there's different things you need for the treasure hunting world than the gaming world. Yeah. So I didn't have a lot of equipment. Actually, it wasn't until I hit 1 million subscribers till I bought my actual first camera, which was a Sony camera. But I used my phone, which was a Galaxy S3, and a GoPro I found in the river. And then when I hit 1 million subs,
That's incredible.
I bought my own camera and stuff.
You found your equipment at the bottom of the Chattahoochee
That's hilarious.
River.
But I couldn't find the owner, so I got to keep it without feeling anything bad. So, yeah.
So you just used what you had and started slowly scaling as I guess you felt it was appropriate, and hey, I could splurge a little bit on some equipment.
Of course, I tell everyone, if you have a phone in your pocket, and if it's even a newer phone than what I had at the time, I mean, you're way ahead than I've ever been. So you just got to make use of what you have, and it doesn't take much. And I look back at those videos; they're really easy to make. At the time, they were challenging because it's just that's when I first started doing them. But when I look back and after years of doing it, they're just pretty simple. And I think people liked it because I was just consistent sharing my story. So it doesn't really matter what
from like
equipment you have.
the outside looking into that space and just people that I follow on YouTube and different, streaming platforms or content creators, it seems that the most successful are genuinely just being themselves and just not really trying too hard, but just whatever that content is, just being organic, natural. To me, it just seems like they're the ones that have the most success with doing it, because you do have people, at least I assume from what I see, it's like the best production and they've been putting videos out for years and it's like they have 500 subscribers.
Yeah.
And for whatever reason, I guess it just doesn't resonate or doesn't click. But that's pretty powerful, just doing what you like. And I can't get over finding your first equipment batch. And I mean, that's just,
I hope you have. Do you still have the camera that you found?
I do, I believe. Yeah.
The rate of return on that, the investment and that dive to find that is
it's crazy because like the equipment that I have to make these videos possible, like obviously, you can get into metal detecting, crystal hunting, like treasure hunting, and there's all types of stuff to find. But to go back to like my roots of just scuba diving in the river, all you need is a scuba tank, your BCD, a pair of goggles, a camera. Hopefully the goggles have like an attachment for your camera, and then maybe like a collection bag, and that's really all you need. So you don't need to spend a lot of money. And the return on your profit margin for me at the time was really high, and it was in my backyard, so I didn't need to fly anywhere. I didn't need to use gas. I don't know. You just show up and then document what I find. So for me, living with my mom and my dad, at that age, like it was really nice to earn some extra money for the first time, and I just saved everything and to be honest with you guys, like I didn't come from a lot of money. My dad was in the military. My mom was a barber. We weren't like, really poor, but we weren't really wealthy. We would go out on my birthday for dinner, which was really nice, And I always told my mom, I was like, I just want to make enough money to go eat anywhere I want, anytime I want. And that was like, I just love like trying new foods and just going out and eating. And so it was really cool to earn a little bit of extra money to go to different places.
Is that what brought you to Columbus, is the military aspect of that?
Yeah, my dad was in the military. He retired. And then I have two other brothers here. They're a little older than me. And I moved to California, and I graduated in California out of high school. And I did a little bit of college there, but I dropped out after a year, and then I moved here. So I could have stayed there, but it's just so expensive. And to be honest with you all, I really wanted to be a professional surfer. I just love surfing. It was my passion. It's still my passion. And when I moved here, I was a bit depressed, and that's when I got really heavy into the gaming stuff. And I just wanted YouTube to work, and then I was so tunnel focused on it. And then once I found that river, there's a river wave I can surf. My spark was back up, my energy was high, and I was just having the time of my life with or without a camera. And it was just so much fun. And it's stuff, I mean, shoot, it's been almost, 10 years later, I'm still doing it like every day. So it's just a blast.
Well, that's the thing about people that we talk to that are building businesses that work for themselves, that there has to be that spark of passion, like to do what you want to do, because it feels like you're not working. I mean,
That's how it
some
felt
people
for
would
me.
say work, but it doesn't feel like that.
Yeah, like you could just be worried or stressed out in a day or something. But the moment I went underwater, I mean, just everything you forget, and you just have fun. And it's just, it's been a really good time. I really have and then once you get bored with one thing, maybe you get into metal detecting, or maybe you get into the magnet fishing or crystal hunting or whatever it is. It's like, there's so many categories in that outdoor treasure hunting world that it's just so much fun to chase, if that makes sense.
Yeah, and I think to me, like when you're saying treasure hunting and just like, I don't know, my generation, the millennial generation, and thinking about things you watch on TV and you think like that's kind of where the money's at. You go and you find the treasure. But obviously for content creation, revenue comes in other ways. When did it become important for you to, like really lock in on the fact that, hey, this is a revenue generator? And then how do you diversify that with like, do you do sponsorships and, things of that nature?
Yeah, sure. To be honest, let me just start from the back. My mom was a barber, and I always told my mom, I was like, all right, I want to make more money than you did in one day. And it's not like she's making a ton of money or anything like that. I just never made $100 on YouTube, Yeah. I was like, one day I'm going to make what, like a real job will make. And, and I remember the day I matched my mom. I was like, yeah, this is sweet. Like, okay, the next day. And then I was like, this is incredible. Maybe I got double my mom. And it's not like I'm rubbing it in. It's more like we're just proud. Like I've never seen anything like that. And then
they were supportive of what you were
very
trying to do.
supportive.
Okay.
And then the next day, I made like a whole year's salary in a day, and it was like the craziest thing in the whole world. So it's like your life can change on a dime, but it wasn't life changing in that one moment, if that makes sense. For me,
Right.
it was, just because I've never seen that type of money. But it's just really cool to just keep chasing that, and just like it just felt like nothing was hitting until I found that treasure hunting, and yeah, so I kind of lost my train of thought.
Well, no, I mean, do you're answering it. Do you feel that that when you do a video and it's successful or it meets the metrics that you want, do you feel pressure for the next one to have to
Well, of course.
exceed that?
Yeah, like, when I first started, I'd never seen 1 million views on a video that same time frame, when I was first starting making some money. And once I hit that first 1 million views, I was like, wow, that's incredible. And then the next one hit 1 million. It just seemed like every video I uploaded was just soaring past 1 million, 2 million, 3 million, 4 million views on every video. And it's so exciting. It's everything you've ever wanted, everything you wish for. And it was just so much fun, and very, very just grateful for it. But it really, I'm losing my train of thought again. I'm trying to think deep into all this.
It's like,
I will do the same thing, so don't worry.
my question would be like, when you're in that spot where you're constantly seeing those videos perform well to meet your expectations, how do you keep that constant freshness there?
Yeah, reinventing treasure hunting every year for sure. But yeah, there is definitely a lot of stress when it comes to those views and those numbers. You want to look, professional. You want to have that. You want to have that reaches. And you always just want to keep that hype around your channel, and you don't want to let it die out, if that makes sense. So for me, to keep that spark alive, I would reinvent treasure hunting. So when we first started, it was just snorkeling, and I'd go out in the river and snorkel. And then I earn a little bit of extra money. I got my BCD, my scuba diving equipment. And then once I found everything scuba diving, I honestly thought that felt like cheating, breathing underwater. I was like, this is cool. I'm going to find everything. And then once I found everything, I was like, dang, we need a metal detector because I'm going to find stuff underneath the ground. And I got really nerdy with all that. And then I was like, okay, well, and then I would circle back, snorkel, scuba dive, metal detect. And I just killed that for a while. And all the views stayed pretty high, and I loved it. Like I was really at the forefront of my thinking, at the time. I was like, yeah, it's crazy. And then I kept just reinventing it every year, chasing something new. And you talk about treasure hunting, like treasure hunting to me can be the stuff you find in the river. It can be old rusty cell phones or whatever it may be. But we've also found real treasure. We went to the Bahamas and also off the Treasure Coast and found real treasure coins off of real shipwrecks. And
wow, we're leaving today. We're getting a flight today. We're following.
I really want to do it. It's just it's a little difficult. There's a guy right now named Carl Allen. He's the only guy I think in the world right now searching for treasure in the Bahamas, and he gave me permission to have my own treasure boat to go out there and blow holes.
That's great,
and it's super neat. Kendall, she actually found a silver coin before I even
Spanish
found
silver. I'm
yeah,
assuming.
yeah. And then I found one. It was just really neat, but they just haven't found a mother lode. The mother lode is over $1 billion worth of treasure. And long story short, a friendly ship hit another friendly ship in the middle of the night and split in two. And, all the guts of the gold fell on the floor, and it's like 50 feet deep. So they're fine. They've already found over $4 million worth of stuff, like big chains and everything.
That's
but
crazy.
They just haven't found that mother lode. And I don't know. I was like, dang, it could be
That's
me.
incredible. I bought a metal detector during COVID.
Yeah.
Look, Jared's shaking his head. You don't know where it's going, but it's funny. So I bought a metal detector, never have used one ever, and I spent like $1,500 on this metal detector.
Yeah, no, they get it.
And so I took it to the beach one time we went, and I was out there, and this lady was asking me, what you looking for? And I was like, I'm trying to find some Bitcoin,
Bitcoin. Dude, I thought about that right when it came about too. I remember my first metal detector, I got an Airbnb. I'm just tearing up the backyard. I made sure it was fine when I left, but I was so excited.
It was fun, though. I ended up getting rid of it because I didn't use it very much. So I did sell it on eBay, but it was fun. I found.
Did you sell it for $1,500 or just
I got $900 for it.
$900.
It took a little bit. It was
Good
$600 worth of fun that we had. But I found beer cans and all kinds of stuff. But
the beer top, like the can tops are the worst. For me, I metal detecting on land's fun, but I don't prefer it. I prefer underwater. Like when someone loses a wedding ring and they lose it underwater, they think it's gone forever, but it's like a little time capsule. And if you can read people and you read the spots really well, you can find a lot of rings. Like I dove this one spot, one tank, so about an hour. I found over 12 rings, and 2 of them were pretty big diamonds. And it's so cool to go out, challenge yourself to find a ring, but to find 12 on one tank is pretty ridiculous.
Do you think the current
not at this
puts
spot.
it in? Okay.
But this spot in particular, there was no beer can tops because no one was allowed to drink. So if you can find spots where you have adults where they can't drink, but they're still having fun, maybe honeymoon spots, you might find some good stuff. You want to
cool.
limit
Pretty
your
cool.
your bottle tabs, whatever the pool tabs.
Yeah.
The false alarms.
Yeah.
No, that's pretty cool.
So don't get discouraged. Try it again.
So do you do?
There you go. You got to buy another metal detector.
Yeah.
My
Maybe
wife's
he's
not
got
gonna
a
like
used
that.
one that he wants to get rid of.
I do have.
Can you
some.
find a metal detector in the water? And then I can.
Yeah.
I always throw my metal detector in the water and I always lose it. I'm like, where's my stuff?
So when you started out, obviously you were doing it solo
Yes.
on yourself. Has that changed? Do you still do it mainly solo, or
So-
do you have a team of people that?
I'll run it from the back just so everyone can kind of know. I started my channel, like I said, gaming. I went to the river and then I was making those fishing videos and I was just fishing. And then that's when I met my first friend, Brandon, down there, Jigging with Jordan. He has a YouTube channel with a few million subscribers as well. At the time, he didn't have a channel, but when I met him, I just remember him rolling up. He's shaved head, he's tan, had these bright neon green shorts to his knees, and he's like, "Dude, are you that guy on the internet?" And I was like, "I might be." I didn't have a lot of friends, moving from California to here. I'm just making new friends, mingling, talking, whatever. If anyone's into like the stuff that I'm into, it's just gonna work. So I hung out with Brandon, and then we went wake surfing on my friend's boat, and then, which is a treat. Like, it was a rare occurrence. And I was like, "Dude, you should come and wake surf with us," and he did. And then that next day I was like, "Hey, I'm going treasure hunting tomorrow. You should come." He's like, "Treasure hunting?" He's like, "What is that?" And then he brought his friend Tristan. And then after that, they just hung out with me for like the next couple weeks. We just made, treasure hunting videos. I go out in the river. I show everyone what I find. They didn't have a camera. They didn't think about any of that. We're just having the time of our lives. Like, I didn't even think about money or anything like that. I was just having fun recording it, just hanging out with your friends, And then when I started making some extra money, I was like, you guys should pick up a camera and really do this. We can travel the world together and make these treasure hunting videos. And then they took a class in college, just right down here, and at CSU, a YouTube class. I believe they got an A in their class. And
Is there's a YouTube class at CSU?
I think so. Don't quote me, but I believe they took a YouTube class. And then they were inspired. Maybe the initial spark kind of inspired them. And then they went to the YouTube class and, they found their own spark on themselves. But long story short, we met up all the time. They got their cameras and then they dropped out of college, and then we all chased our goals of YouTube. And Tristan, he's doing more hunting stuff, like actual hunting
Right.
videos. Brandon's still in the space. We actually hung out yesterday, and we went treasure hunting. So it's cool to have like your net friends that I met. And I would love to build a team, but to be honest with you, it's really just fun hanging out with whoever you're clicking. And those guys, we were just having fun being kids, making sandcastles as adults in the sand,
Yeah.
Chattahoochee, just fun and stuff. So it worked great. As for a team, I started by myself, and then I hired and retired my family. My mom was a barber, so when I was making that extra money, like I said, it wasn't anything that rubbed in her face. I retired her, and I said, whatever you're getting paid for your barbering, I'll pay for that, and then you just help me with my money. Like help me figure out all this stuff with
The
taxes
business
and money,
aspect
'cause
of it all.
there's a lot, and I don't know anything really about it all. So she was hired on, and then my dad was hired on. He was a school teacher, retired military, and also retired bodyguard for celebrities. So he was hired on
That's
to
cool.
also help with that. And then my sister was in charge of this big world map. So I have thousands of people that reach out saying they lost their wedding ring or whatever it may be. We log it in on the map. So let's just say I'm in a random state. Let's just say like California.
Oh, wow.
Maybe I can look on my map, and then maybe there's like 3 or 4 rings that I could go out and maybe rescue for some people and make a video out of. So I just have like a world map of just endless
And that's
videos.
really cool because that's like a great synergy there of it's like content ideas for you. So if you're ever in a dry spell or season, like I hit the Chattahoochee a lot this season.
Yeah.
And you can always go to that map. It's like, hey, this person lost a wedding ring. Let's help them. And it's like a content library just waiting there for you to hit.
For me, you can burn a spot, like clear it out pretty quickly, especially if you got a scuba tank. And then, I just kind of know the spots a little bit. So once I clear out a spot, sometimes you got to let it sit for a little bit and then you come back. But in that meantime, you can travel, you can go to new places or, just whatever. And sometimes that mindset helps with that.
That's
Yeah,
pretty cool.
I was curious about that too. Do you ever get contacted by cities or municipalities or any places like that that says, "Hey, we've got this thing going on the river. Can you come?" Because I know a lot of it's focused on like cleaning. You clean up the rivers. and
We've
stuff.
had a few people reach out for like, cleanups and maybe promoting whatever they may want for the cleanup situations. But to be honest with you, I really just, I was really consistently just showing up at the river, and I was already doing all that stuff, promoting, cleaning up the environment. So I just kind of stayed in my little bubble, but I did, branch out and help out some other people too, like that. But
And I think that's important too, the cleanup aspect of things. We spend a lot of time doing outdoor activities. We were together in Vegas and kayaked on the Colorado River, and it was a really cool focus by those guides. We're like, hey, if you see junk laying around, please pick it up,
Yeah, no,
and,
absolutely.
and it kind of like me and one of my sons that was with me was like, oh, we see some vape things, and we get them in some shoes. Like, how much can we get? And I think that's really important for people to pay attention to keeping these waters clean.
Yeah,
oh, the little disposable vapes.
Yeah,
and all the
every time I
batteries and
dive, I always
chemicals.
find like 20 of those. I'm like, just putting them in my jar, and I'm like, good Lord.
do better, people, please.
Yeah.
Do better.
Well, if we talk about the business aspect, like as you get larger, obviously you have more opportunities come to you with whether it be like management or advertising opportunities or partnerships. How do you balance that side of it with continuing the creative side of it? Like still being able to do what you want to do, but now you have, something kind of telling you what you have to do or something like that.
So early on, we try to connect with bigger brands, maybe like GoPro, Red Bull, things like that. But some of these companies don't pay their athletes, and at the time I was receiving a lot of views, and I didn't necessarily need extra money or like I didn't need extra product, but I wanted the connection maybe some of these companies could have with the outreach of people and stuff like that. So I was still interested with no matter what, if there was no money or not. These are just amazing companies to potentially be a part of, but I never locked in with anyone. I was very careful with what I signed. And I just kind of stayed solo so I could do whatever I want, act however I want. But as for brand deals, we do have brand deals. Usually they're just like showcased on the channel. It could be anything, it could be hair loss treatment. It could be Audible stuff, like the book, audible.com. It could be video games. It could be like Audible was my first brand deal ever.
Do you keep those contracts like, I'm completely ignorant of how that works.
Sure.
So I'm asking. So if it's a stupid question, I apologize. But do you like keep those contracts short, or is it just like do they just say, hey, this industry standard is a 3-month deal for Audible to sponsor, and then the next 3 months you'll find somebody else? Or
to be honest with you, I have an entertainment lawyer. He looks at every contract, no matter what I sign. He looks at every single thing, and just to make sure everything's good to go and how we want it. But as for certain like competitor brands, like we just did a brand deal for Geico. And maybe I wouldn't be able to do a competitor, within 3 months or something. Whatever we decide. So if that makes sense. But
so you're just really filtering for, as long as it's nothing that really takes away from your brand and your legal team is cool with it, then
of course. And I'm really open. I don't mind talking about anything. I mean, any support on the channel is amazing.
Yeah.
Everyone's got a story or something to sell. And I just use that money to make better videos, and I think it's fun. I've never got any bad responses on the channel. I think everyone sees I'm very real, and I'm just showing off, whatever, someone wants to help support our channel, whatever they want to show off.
So what was the first experience with that? Because if I'm putting myself in your position, I'm starting, the YouTube channel, there's a viral moment, my videos start getting a hit. How do you not feel like basically underwater there? Like, what's going on? My head is swimming.
I definitely did. I was living with my mom and dad. I was 23, 24 years old until I met Kendall, and we lived off on our own. But it was just, it was such a hard thing to balance. And I remember the day my subscribers ticked over to 1 million views, and my shoulders felt so heavy. I was like, holy crap, that's a lot of people. I was like, I don't want to disappoint anyone. And I just felt like that was so many people for what I was doing. And I was so grateful, and those numbers were ticking in like crazy. I remember I worked so hard to get 200,000 subs. I think it took me all 4 years in the gaming, world. And then when I started treasure hunting, I went from 200,000 subs to 1 million in like just a couple months. But it was like once I hit 1 million, I hit 2 million in just another month or so. Like it was fast. And
how many followers do you have on your social media?
So right now on YouTube, we're almost at 14 million subscribers, and then on other social media platforms, I think we're close to either 20 or a little over 20 million totally. But to be honest with you, YouTube's like my main just spot. All the fresh content goes on there, and then I have a team that re-uploads and repurposes videos on Facebook, Snapchat, and then Instagram's just personal. But I do have business stuff coming in now, but it's just more just.
So you still, even with all the other engagement on other platforms, you still kind of stay dedicated to YouTube and.
Yeah, but I'm not married to YouTube. Any platform that's that maybe will help support my lifestyle obviously is great, and that's why we just try to be really just consistent with every platform. But YouTube's where I started. It was the first platform where I actually signed up on YouTube before you can even make money on YouTube, and then I remember I had to be a part of a network and uploaded videos on that network to even make money, and it was really weird. And then yeah, I don't know, it's just
do any of the changes for like the because I think, and I could be wrong, but my understanding, so when Instagram went to Reels and then you had TikTok, YouTube then started doing the shorts. So do you feel you have the team that just repurposes the videos, or do you feel like you have to make special content to kind of, okay, I got to compete in the short space along with the long duration, which we talked a little bit about before the podcast about the importance of long duration content. But do you feel like you have to create something special for the short term videos, or is it just repurposing clips?
I think you look at every platform like a video game, and that's where maybe my video game mindset comes into play. But I look at everything like a video game, and there's stats, and there's a leaderboard. And how do you get on top of that leaderboard? If you're looking at it as just numbers, obviously, let's just say I love this, and I'm doing this organically for fun, whatever, not for money. But if you're looking at this as a video game, and someone's on the top of leaderboards, why are they there? Obviously, you can be strategic with your shorts and how you maybe want to put that on your channel. But you're absolutely right. If you have all the time in the world to just kind of get your clips and just make it specifically for every platform, it's going to do best, but it takes a long time. And I was trying to do that by myself, and I was losing. I could make more money with extra help. So that's why we have the team on Facebook, and they just chop all my stuff. I don't even look at it anymore. They just chop it. They post what they want. I give them some notes if they want to, and then they just have at it. But if I could get really, really, really specific, I would do incredible. Like my shorts, I just randomly uploaded some shorts right when it happened. And then we have a few over 40 million. And it seemed like the shorts were doing really well for subscribers. We have a few that got over 100,000 subs and off of just one short. So you'll see numbers roll in. But back when I first started, there wasn't shorts. There wasn't, I don't think there was TikTok and stuff like that. So the videos in that space, it was just, it was so different than it is now in a sense of competitiveness. And it seems like everyone wants to get in a space. So you really got to play that game to get on that leaderboard, maybe a little bit more than I maybe originally had to. But I also feel like if you're starting out now, it might be easier for you to achieve certain things than it was when I first started, because that just seems like there's way more platforms, way more strategies. And it seems like things are hitting, and you don't necessarily need subscribers to grow stuff anymore. Like, I had someone at YouTube tell me that when I upload a video, they don't send my video to all my subscribers. So we're coming up on 14 million. So all my 14 million subscribers who hit subscribe to check out my video on the channel, I guess not every one of them gets the notification, just be too many people. So they don't send it to all those people. So I don't know if it's
like algorithmic
I'm
based,
sure it
I guess.
helps obviously when you have more subs, but at a point like they don't even send it to your subscribers, I guess, from what I gathered. I'm kind of like you guys. There's no one sitting here whispering in my ear, exactly what I need to hear to make the perfect algorithmic video for whatever platform. I just kind of roll with it, what works. I kind of have that style, and I replicate it in whatever form and just keep going. But I definitely think now is a little bit easier more than ever to maybe make any of this your career.
And there's going back to the shorts, that's an interesting question, because sometimes I'll see YouTubers that have their main channels, but then they'll create a separate shorts channels or something like that. Mm-hmm. Is there a benefit to doing that? I mean, don't you want everything in one place? What do you feel? What do you think about that?
So when shorts just happen on YouTube, I believe when you upload a short, it also uploaded as a regular upload. So in your feed, you would see your shorts and your uploads. So I think when people made separate channels, they didn't want all that to be jumbled up, Right. And I remembered I didn't like that look when I first saw it, and I didn't even mess around with shorts. But then I had so many people telling me you need to hop on the shorts because it's just a subscriber glitch basically. You're just gonna have so many new subscribers. And I was like, okay. So I just sat down. I made 6 shorts one day, just scuba diving, simple, no fast edits, no talking. Mm-hmm. And they all were slow at first, but then I just logged in maybe a few weeks later, and they're just banging. It's just weird, but I don't know that I haven't got really nerdy with it lately. I haven't done a lot of shorts. You don't earn a lot of money off of 40 million views on a short. It's not a lot of money. It's really not. You can't make it. You'd have to hit those numbers consistently over and over and over.
It's more or less you're using the short strategy, or when you started using shorts as a strategy, just to gain more eyeballs.
Yeah, just more eyes. Yeah, on whatever. Maybe they'll come to your channel. Maybe they'll subscribe. But more or less, you have a big new viewership base that's just seen your short, and they have a chance to go to your channel and look at some of your longer formats. So, cool. You may see more subs, and I don't know if it works hand to hand as a normal video. I'm sure it does, but it's just any kind of reach is nice. So,
and also I know you've done some collaborations with other YouTubers, and that's sort of cross pollinating the content. I guess you're not uploading the same content that they are. They edit it a little bit differently. Yeah. There's a different angle there. Has that been something that's helped you kind of propel as well?
I've reached out to so many YouTubers. I think I love what I do. Anytime I see anyone down, I always invite them out. And I always say, video or no video, just come out and have a good time. I don't care if we make a video. I love meeting new people and having fun, sharing my passions with some, maybe people in the same space, like,
Yeah.
with YouTube. So when I meet YouTubers, it's cool. I respect, there's like their drive and whatever they got going on. I don't idolize too many people. I just look at everyone pretty much as like, just we're all normal people kind of,
Yeah.
but I respect, obviously what they all do. But I haven't had the opportunity to work with too many YouTubers, but we have met a lot and we've brought a few people in, and sure, it helps to cross. Like I really want to get into a little bit more of the like the gym world, the gym community. So I want to cross promote that a little bit. But yeah, it's totally true. Like if this is like a bubble of my treasure hunting community, and at the time when I was doing really well, I was like the only person doing it. So, you had all these views circulating this, it's kind of like the gaming community, but I just created a whole new genre. So it's like I have a whole little pot. I'm just mixing all these views. So like my view database, I think we're averaging, 45 million to even, 60 million views a month, pretty casually. So it was just like, I just think because that pool of videos that I had, someone would watch one, they'd watch the other, and they couldn't escape at that time.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's just really my only thought process now. Because I think now there's just so many people doing it. And if I upload a metal detecting video, maybe there's 1,000 other channels that has other metal detecting videos, and it kind of, spreads out. So I think for that time, it really helped me push more views to the channel, more subscribers, because I just have a little nest egg. But
Yeah.
as time goes on, that nest egg does open up, if I had to speculate.
What would you say that, because I mean, pretty exciting journey that you
Yeah.
talked to us about. Pretty cool. Especially like you said, Columbus, Georgia, the Chattahoochee was your back door. So you just like perfectly took advantage of your passion and your location. But what would you say, and it may be the treasure hunting in the Bahamas, what would you say has been like your most exciting kind of notch in your belt from your experience so far, the most exciting thing you've gotten to do?
I mean, so as cheesy as it sounds, I guess like staying home is like really, I just love chilling here. But if I had to like think of other stuff, like I love the Bahamas. The first time I saw the Bahamas with my eyes, like my buddy Deer Meat for dinner, he's another YouTuber. He invited me out.
And he just had I think a series of strokes.
I hope he's doing well. I sent him a video recently just saying, I hope he gets a little bit better, but I believe he had a seizure.
I've watched his stuff too. He's a pretty cool guy to watch.
He's a strong guy.
Yeah.
He'll bounce back. Very nice. He invited me out to the Bahamas. I didn't have really a lot of money to spend on a Bahama trip, but he's like, hey, you should come and hang out. My friend Kevin owns this resort. And I was like, okay, like we're coming. And then I go there, and the moment I saw the water, I was like, wow, this is just the most beautiful wallpaper, picturesque, stuff that I've ever seen. And we went to Staniel Cave, whatever, and it's just so pretty. And metal detecting there, and just it kind of opened my eyes, just like because I don't have to go in the dingy, nasty river. I could go to beautiful places, So that to me was eye-opening, and it was just so pretty. So I had to bring my family back to go check it out. And as a treasure hunter, like you can find some pretty nice stuff. A lot of celebrities go there, but there's just eye-opening experiences and locations. For me, it's just really treasure-based. And as cheesy as it sounds as well, like I just like helping people. When I find something that someone thought they lost forever, like I just found this little pendant for this guy. I think he's like in his 80s, but he got it for his graduation. He's had his whole life, and he just lost a little gold pendant, and he teared up the moment I gave it back to him because he thought it was gone forever. And to me, that's more valuable than anything to help someone. I think
great,
it's just fun. That's the treasure. It's not necessarily the gold and diamonds, but
and I think that's the beautiful part of a lot of content creation is that you can genuinely help other people do good for the community and benefit from it.
Yeah.
There's not many spaces where you can objectively do all those things and as part of your job.
Yeah, that's true.
That's pretty cool.
Is there any difference in that content? Because I noticed when you watch your videos, sometimes you'll see you delivering it to the person.
Mm-hmm.
Do those videos, is there a performance difference in those videos versus one that's just you finding the things?
So, we analyzed all the videos over the years. And, when we first started, like I said, I don't think there's really any strategy. I think they're all just going to bang. It's a new genre, a new thing. Everyone's enjoying it. Now I get a little bit nerdy with it. You want your audience retention. When someone clicks that video, that you want them to stay there and watch for the whole video. So YouTube grabs it and recommends it to everyone. Right. So when it comes to structuring your video, there's just so many different ways. Like I used to just put all my finds, like I would go diving, I show all my diving clips, and then I show what I find at the end of the video. And then people used to skip, and then you'd have like this little, like it'd be a flat line and a bump at the end, and it kills this video a little bit. So yeah, you really got to just see what the viewers want, and then just kind of manipulate your timeline of how you make. Like lately, I've been getting out of the water a lot more frequent. I talk about everything I find just so I can clip, underwater, top water, underwater, top water, a little bit more. So it's not like one final, just here's all my treasure. I think it's a
Right.
little boring, like once you do it over. So structuring your video and however it may be can definitely help. But yeah, we've mixed around stuff like, I don't know.
Are you still editing your own videos?
I have an editor and I also edit myself as well. My bigger, more important projects I'll send to him, and then I have a few, but I have one guy I really like, and then he'll take on every one of them, but it's got a little bit of a steeper price. And to be honest with you, I just love making like my own projects. I love putting it together, being on the grind. Like I just love going out, filming, coming back, working in the gym, editing a video and having it up. And if I can do that like consistently every day, it just feels so motivating. It feels amazing. And no one can tell. I'm not the best editor, but no one can tell a better story than yourself, maybe.
You're
how
better,
you
you're
want to
better than
share
I
it.
am. I can
Well,
guarantee you that.
wonder if it's hard to give that part of it up, because that
It
like,
is
that
very
part
hard.
is
I
like
gave
your
it up
baby.
for a couple years
Yeah.
too, and it felt like I was disconnected a little bit, but it was so much fun when you handed a project to someone and you got to sit and watch it for the first time, and it's like, oh wow, that was fun. It's like, you get to watch your adventure, your trip, and you didn't have to sit there and edit it for hours on end because you already know it's gonna, you looked at every frame, so it's fun in that aspect. But it was hard to let it go. But it comes at a moment where, like, if you want to make a little extra money, it might be nice to have your editor. But for me, right now, it's just so easy to edit the videos, and I really want to get in a groove. But I'll throw some other videos too.
And how do you go about looking for that? Because you have to have a certain person that like
Yeah, no, it's
fits
hard.
with your style. So
Yeah.
did you have a process where you went through a bunch of people and you settled on this one person, or did you just like find them like a treasure?
So I've entertained a few editors in the past. No one really kind of like I said, my editing skills isn't really like top notch. I just tell a story, I just know how it flows. I know what I just feel some dead spots, and you want to speed it up. But long story short, Jamie is he's a good editor of mine. He's out in Canada. I just put my stuff on Google Drive. He'll edit it. He's a good guy. He worked full time with some other YouTubers, so he couldn't work full time with me, but he was working full time. And then he actually edited my video first. He's like, hey, this is a video I edited of yours. Check it out. And I checked it out. It was really good,
Oh,
really
really?
fast paced. Like he took
Okay.
the initiative to edit a video without me paying him. And then I said, all right, let's put you on the next project. And here's a test run.
It's a great idea.
And I gave him a little trial run, and I said, okay, let's do another one and another one. And then it just, it just casually kind of went to that. And in the past, I've had editors that just, you can tell immediately. It's just not the vibe, or it's not the storyline or the flow you want. So
Well, you have so if you're going out and you're filming, what's the raw footage? What's the time frame of that? And then what do you try to get it down to?
That's a great
every
question.
video, yeah, it's a great question. Every video is different. And like I said, I try to document, not create, if that makes sense, but I'm still creating, if that But it really just depends like what you're doing. Crystal hunting, some of those projects can be multiple days. You go out and you're digging with the excavator, you might not be finding something, and maybe the second or third day you found the vein of crystals and bam, you're pulling them all out. Or you
And
can
have
go on the
multiple
river.
cameras as well.
Yeah, sometimes. Usually I'll use my main camera, which is a Sony A7S Mark III, and then we usually run a 24 to 70 millimeter lens on that. Just has a great, but we can switch it out. We put different lenses on for cinematic, like beautiful edits. But for the most part, we do have the one camera, and I have like my little head camera, which is a GoPro, and then but we do have other cameras as well. Like if we're doing on a bigger shoot, like if I was magnet fishing with maybe a celebrity guest or something, I'm definitely gonna run a couple different cameras. One on him, one on me, and then maybe another one just to have 3 different angles. But for the most part, I really my like what I love is to run very lightweight. So my cameraman, Joseph, we'll set him up where he has everything he needs, but it's just really lightweight. It's waterproof, and we just go around. I don't have to worry about the camera. I don't have to worry about nothing. He controls everything. So
Yeah.
that's kind of where I was at.
Well, cool. Is there what's next for you as far as the YouTube channel? Do we get to have like a Scuba Jake museum here in Columbus where we get to go see all the
Or
finds?
my
and-
idea is, a lot of the content now has gotten on, what is it, Tubi or Samsung TV, where it's like, different content creators
Yeah.
have their content streaming like episodes.
We're-
Have Jake
Yeah.
TV.
We're on
you
a
know?
bunch of different apps,
Yeah.
but to be honest with you, my goal is to still be that kid that found that river a long time ago. I want to go down there with, in my mind, just go have fun. So
Yeah.
all those responsibilities, my family helps out, some people on the team helps out. But yeah, what's next for me is just keep pushing it, keep reinventing the sport. I talked about real treasure hunting. It would be amazing to get a treasure boat and to put these mailbox blowers on the back to blow the water down to the ocean
Yeah, that's
floor.
awesome.
to expose that gold, which would be a ton of fun.
Oh, we're rooting
A
for
one-off.
you.
Yeah, it would be sweet.
We want some souvenirs though.
Yeah.
When you find them on the road, we want just
a little tiny feast.
just a handful of souvenirs. No,
As
just
for
kidding.
museums, we have some stuff set up in Whitewater Express. I don't
do
know.
you?
Well, I did. I haven't been
Okay.
in a while, so I don't know if they still have it. But I had a little chest in there, and I said, "Here's some cool stuff." And
Oh yeah.
I don't know, but I do keep everything. One day it would be really neat to kind of put it somewhere and just have
Yeah.
some people. It's mostly just phones and just molded stuff.
It's still, that's cool though.
To me, it doesn't matter. When you roll up on a chest like that and you're looking at everything, you're like, wow, you found all this. We're about to go rafting. Like that's so
Yeah.
cool. But yeah, for me, reinvent the sport, keep having fun, keep being a kid, and just keep chasing that dream of the best treasure hunter in the world.
Well, we'll wrap it up here soon. We appreciate your time, but I have
Yes, sir.
one last question for you. So if you
maybe
look
the
at,
most important question.
yeah, maybe the most important.
Maybe
So
the
if you
most
look
important
at
question.
the next generation that's coming up, like a third of 12 to 15-year-olds, if you ask them what they want to be, it's a TikTok creator, it's a YouTube creator. It's like taking the world by storm. You're not talking to people who want to be police officers or baseball players or whatever. That's a very specific thing because this is what they're growing up with.
Yep.
What advice do you have to any of those people that are in that spot? That's like I want to be a YouTuber. How do I do it?
which
What's the
I've heard
first step?
from 2 of the 3 children I have. Can I have a YouTube channel? Can I
It's
put stuff
crazy.
on YouTube and they go around and act like they're making videos
Yeah, that's
and
funny.
stuff?
Yeah.
So yeah, it's like its own. It's like today's version of a celebrity.
Yeah, no,
Really, it is. Yeah.
Like I said, when I started, no one knew. I told everyone I want to be a YouTuber, and they're like, what is that? And that's and it really isn't long ago. It was 2011 is when I made the channel. 2016 is when I was just telling people I really want to be a YouTuber, and that's when it kind of happened. So from 2016 is really like everyone wants to be a part of it all. And if you want to be a part of, any social media, my advice to you is just to have fun, document. At the end of the day, if you're having any struggles creating any videos, just think about you document it. Don't create it. Have that mindset. Super easy. Just document whatever you're doing. And then whatever you're into, someone else is going to be into it as well. Just have fun, share it, do it for memories. I made every video, I was making videos with my friends just for fun. And obviously money came in and that was a good motivator, but I really did it back in the day just for fun. I just went on my channel and I got to have those laughs that I had back in the day. It's like a little memory bank. And, for me, I never did it for money, but if you can just go into the headspace of just having fun, but be as consistent as you possibly can and work on it every single day. Be obsessed with it if you want it. If you want it, you will have a chance, but it is so rare. Nowadays, like I said, though, I do think a lot more people can get it because there's so many other platforms. They can make this their career. It can be very stressful. There's a lot of money, but at the same time, you could go 5 years without making $100. So I wouldn't.
Yeah.
I would have a backup. I didn't have a backup, but I would have a backup. But just chase your dreams, man. Whatever it is, if it is a YouTuber, be a YouTuber. Just don't care about what people say. Everyone, you're gonna get comments that are just terrible. It doesn't matter how perfect you are. Just if you could take that comment and apply it to your life in some way to better your life, cool. If not, just push it to the side and just keep moving forward. And you'll burn out. But just keep going, just keep pushing. To be honest with you, I wouldn't rather. This is the best job in the world. I wouldn't want to do anything else. And if anyone wants to do it, you can do it. But consistency, I'd say, is probably
great.
right.
That's awesome.
That's great. That's a
We
perfect
started
place
our
to-
YouTube channel not long ago, and we were uploading videos, and we started getting comments. And I told him one day,
So terribly
"Man, these
mean.
people are mean.
Yeah.
What is going on?"
Out of the 100 people that watch this,
Yeah, I mean,
you are
we
the
don't have a big
meanest
audience,
person.
but man, these people
You
really
guys
have
have-
something to say.
You guys have no idea how cruel people can be. I know I wasn't going to talk about this, but the day with the Titan submersible, I watched the world react to what could have been my death, and dude, these people, that's when I realized, I want to do what I want to do. I want to organically be myself as much as possible. I don't care what anyone thinks. If you really enjoy my content, that's amazing. I'm really grateful for it. But at the end of the day, if you don't enjoy it, dude, why even leave a comment? It's you're not in my life. I don't know you. You're wasting your time. You're wasting
Exactly
my
right.
time. I don't care. So grab that comment, move it away, and just focus on yourself and just zone in and just have some fun. You could be the perfect person, but you're going to always have someone say something, and it's going to get under your skin. But like someone called me fat and I was 130 pounds. I was like, dude, don't get underneath your
Maybe they
skin.
had one of those like widescreen TVs that was just
I
like
always
right
wish
there.
I could just like open up the computer screen and just reach in and just punch him.
So that's another bit of advice. So keep the rivers clean and be kind. You know,
Yeah,
some
no,
simple
no.
things we can all
Throw
do in
your
our
iPhones
lives,
in the
you know?
river.
Yeah, we need some more content.
Dirty it up, dirty it up.
Well, we appreciate it. It was fantastic talking to you. I really enjoyed this conversation. Thank you
y'all
for
for having
coming
me.
so
Yeah, I
much.
really appreciate
and
y'all.
hope
Great.
people
Yes,
check
sir.
you out
Yes,
on
sir.
YouTube for
Thank you.
sure. Yeah, thank you.
If y'all ever want to hang out, come treasure hunt.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, we
Take
will.
you out.
It'll be fun.
Yes, that'd be incredible.
Thank y'all for having me.